there YouTube, Pixar Prime 10 here, and welcome back to another episode of Mega Man 3. This episode is a video that I have been extremely excited to bring you this year for Mega Man. I actually wanted to get this video out to you guys earlier, however, I ordered this in the mail and it just came kind of, I guess, recently, so I am only able to bring this review to you now. So if you guys remember the actual debut episode of Mega Man 2 from last year in 2016, you'll remember the first video I did was a video review of the Nenderoid Mega Man figure, a figure that I absolutely loved. It was one that I really wanted for a long time, and of course my great friend That Classy Combine actually got it for me, and I absolutely love the figure. So when I announced that they would be releasing this guy right here, I was ecstatic. My favorite Mega Man game, as you guys hopefully know by now, is Mega Man 2, and what comes from Mega Man 2 but Metal Man, who is my favorite robot master, who has the awesome and best weapon of any Mega Man weapon ever, the Metal Blade. And also, this is the color that I always play as for Mega Man in Smash Bros. So, when I saw that they were making this, I was extremely excited, and I knew that I absolutely had to get it. It's been out for a while now, and it's taken me a little bit, but I finally got my hands on it, and I did procrastinate a lot, and I actually didn't get it until the month of May, which was super dangerous, because if it didn't come, I would have been screwed, but we have it for Mega Man 3, which is awesome. So, if you guys remember what the box looked like for the original Mega Man Nenderoid, or if you've ever seen any Nenderoid figure at all, their box, this is pretty much what you're used to, and it's pretty much the exact same as what we've seen before. We have a big open window in the front here that has Mega Man and all of his accessories in there. You got a picture of the figure right there, and he's number 56B, or 556B, sorry, Mega Man Metal Blade version. You have a whole bunch of stuff in Japanese, I assume, stuff that I can't read. You got the Mega Man logo, the Good Smile Company logo. You have the 10th anniversary logo of, I'm guessing, the Good Smile Company up there. On the side here, we have a picture of Mega Man holding the Metal Blade, Mega Man getting hurt, and like his stunned animation from the 8-bit games, which I'll get into it later, but a lot of this stuff is very reminiscent of the first figure. It's open window here that says Mega Man Metal Blade version. Again, you have the same pictures of him holding the blade and Mega Man like getting hit with knockback, and then you have Mega Man throwing the Metal Blade here. Again, a whole bunch of stuff in Japanese that I can't read. A really cool picture here on the top of Mega Man jumping, I guess, throwing the Metal Blade. On the bottom is just him throwing the Metal Blade, which is absolutely awesome. Kind of looks like Smash right there. 56B, and yeah, that's about it. I like the Good Smile boxes. They do a really good job of showing off the figure, and you can see the figure very clearly inside. But I even love what's inside the box even more. So I cannot wait to get my hands on this guy. Let's crack him out of the box right now. Alright guys, and here we have Mega Man as well as all of his accessories out of the box and laid out for you to see. Now before we get to the figure, let's start off with showing you his accessories because he does come with quite a lot of them. So starting off with hands and hand-related items, we have an E-Tank. So the normal Mega Man Nenderoid figure came with an E-Tank as well, if you remember from last year's review. And it was blue, just like this, and just like the old one, you can detach this hand. The other hand that it comes with is it's a right hand with a peg, so it can just plug into there. One thing that I definitely do not like about this, I'll say right off the bat, is it's blue. In any Mega Man game, if you are using a different weapon color, the E-Tanks or any life meter, life refills in that stage or energy weapon refills will change to the color of the weapon you're using. So in Mega Man 2, if you're using the Metal Blade and you're this color, any E-Tank on the stage will in fact become yellow or brown, I can't really remember, but it definitely won't be blue. So I really would have enjoyed it if they painted it differently, and if you look inside, it does look like it was molded in that color, and they painted over it. So it wouldn't have been too hard to, you know, make it brown like it should be if it was going to be game accurate. But to differentiate it, I'm going to leave that one on there, because if we bring in the E-Tank from last year's video or the original Nenderoid Mega Man, you can see they are a little bit different. Not only in the sense that the new one is a slight bit brighter and a bit shinier. I didn't think there was any difference, but as soon as I opened this one up, I was like, oh wow, it's actually looks a little bit brighter. So that's the only difference for the E-Tank. Moving on with hands, as you can see, Mega Man currently has 2 closed fists on him, but he also comes with a second pair of closed fists. I don't really know why, but there's a left and a right here, and there's a left and a right on him. That's how the package comes. I guess they're replacements if you are to lose fists, which is nice. They really don't have to do that, but they thought to anyway. So you have those 2 closed fists as well as the ones that are on them. And the only other hand we have is a new hand that is meant for the Metal Blades. This is a hand either to hold the Metal Blades or to throw it. So it's as if you guys have ever seen Mega Man throw a Metal Blade in Smash 4, it's exactly the look they're going for. He takes it and he throws it like that. And this is either to have him holding out as if he just threw the Metal Blade, or you can take any of those Metal Blades and put it in here. So this is new. He doesn't come with any Mega Buster, which is 100% fine, because when he's in this weapon mode, he can't use the Mega Buster. He's using the Metal Blade. So it would make sense that instead of a Mega Buster, we get this new hand. And it would have been nice to have a left and a right hand because, well, we'll get into that later. So in terms of metal blades, you get 3 of them. So you get 2 smaller metal blades. These are meant to have in his hand, or you can put them on the stands like I just saw. But yeah, you get 2 of these little smaller ones, which look beautiful, by the way. You have really nice silver paint, giving it a really nice metallic look. If you wanted to, you could probably go in there and do some additional weathering yourself, but as it is, these look really good. And they are really sharp. As I'm holding them and showing them to you, and as I was taking them out of the box, these things are really sharp. I'm shocked they're allowed to sell this over there in Japan. Like, that really hurts. But so there really are metal blades. So yeah, you have these 2 little metal blades that will, if you take this hand here, you can kind of wedge it in there, and it's just friction. It doesn't peg in or anything. And you take it, and then you have Mega Man's hand holding the metal blade. And I could probably do it a little bit better. There we go. So there he is holding the metal blade, and we will put that one right there. So there's the other one. And then you also have this huge one, which you can have the hand hold, but it's far too big. It doesn't look very right, especially if I would have the hand on Mega Man right now. It's just far too big, and size-wise doesn't make any sense. But this one is actually meant to put in these stands, which we'll get to in a second. This is if you have his hand open, like I said, as if he just threw one, it'll kind of look like that, as if a metal blade is flying away from him. So this one's not really meant for holding so much as a display, as if it's flying away. So you get this one big one, and you get the 2 little ones. So like I said, there is a stand that it comes with, and it's actually the same exact stand that we got with the figure last year. So with the exception of these 2 things on the side here, this stand is exactly the same. So this bar right here is actually for Mega Man. You can plug this into his back, and you can have him jumping, getting hurt, flying through the air, whatever. We got this last year, as well as this square base with all the multiple holes in it. But what's new about this is these things. So with the old figure, we didn't actually get these. We got something just like this, but at the top, it wasn't a little hand-grabby claw thing like that. It was pegs. It was a rounded ball peg like that, because Mega Man came with 2 blast effects. He came with the charge shot effect, and he came with the little 3 pellet dot blast effect. So you would put that in there. With the ball joint, you would put them right on top of there to make it look like Mega Man shooting. But because he doesn't have anything to shoot, this time around, we actually get 2 of these, which is really, really awesome, because it totally makes sense that 2 of these would be flying at one time. So what you do is you take these, and then these just wedge onto any of the metal blades really nicely, and they have great articulation. They have a ball joint where they connect, they swivel up there, and then they have a ball joint up here for any mobility that you may need. And you can have one in there, and then this is where the different sizes kind of messes you up a little bit, because then you can put one in there, and that doesn't look too right, but I guess you can have one in there, or if you don't want to, you could get rid of that one, and you could put the little one in here, and you can maybe have Mega Man jumping through the air as these metal blades are flying around, and that just looks really awesome. I absolutely love this whole stand thing they have here. But yeah, this arm and the base is exactly the same as the one that came with the other figure, and these 2 stands are just a little bit modified. Moving on, Mega Man does come with a few different arms as well, so you can give him some different poses. Right now, he just has 2 relaxed arms that go straight down on him, but he also comes with these arms, where you take them and you put them like that, and it's his arms where they kind of go out and down as if he's flinching, and his legs are kind of curled up, and he just got hit by something from knockback. He also has this arm here, which this is new. I believe this is new, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I can't actually show you because his arms are on him, but this is meant for throwing the metal blade, so you would put this on, his arm would go straight out as if his hand was like that, and he was throwing the metal blade away from him. And then these 2, this one you plug into his right shoulder, and it goes around, and his arm kind of wraps around him as if he's kind of holding the metal blade towards him, like into him, and throws it away from him. And then this one, I can't really figure out what this is for. This would match this one, but this one I think they just threw in here. This actually points straight out of him, as if he's like kind of pointing the Mega Buster away from him, but of course he doesn't come with a Mega Buster, so it doesn't really make sense to have one, but they include it anyway, so I mean, it's not bad. And also, Mega Man does have 3 faces, so as you can see, the current face on him is just a very normal, relaxed, chill out, I guess, frown Mega Man face. Then you also have the knockback damage face, as if he just got hit, which matches the 8-bit art perfectly. I absolutely love this face. This is exactly the same as the one from the original figure. The original figure came with that face, this face, and also came with a face like this, but this one is actually a little bit different. So this one is the one that comes with the Metal Blade figure. This one is the one that comes with the original figure. So they are pretty much exactly the same, except the only difference is that in this one, the eyes are pointing the other way. And I am actually totally okay with this, mainly because it kind of makes sense. The Metal Blade flies away from him, so he's going to, look off in the other direction. It makes it, you're getting all the same accessories, but they totally changed it up, so you're not getting the same accessories. And the final accessory is an extra 2 legs, opposed to the ones that are on him right now, which are just normal standing legs. These are ones, if he's kind of, like jumping, you'd have one straight and one up in the air like that, or you could have both of these on, and this is kind of like his, like I said, his flinch knockback pose. And finally, here we have the main attraction, the Mega Man figure himself. Now, I gotta admit, when I got this, of course, I was excited, but I wasn't too excited. I was thinking, well, it's basically the same figure with a few different accessories and different things I can do with it. There's really no reason to be excited, but having him in hand, I absolutely love it. It's always fun to get a Mega Man that's not the classic blue, and this is actually one of my favorite alternate colors for him because it's my favorite weapon, and again, it's always the one I play as when I'm playing as him in Smash Bros. So just like the original figure, everything on here is extremely crisp and clean in terms of paint. You have the brown and the yellow color scheme going on, and just all around the figure is just some really clean and crisp paint applications. You have the yellow bar that goes down his head that looks really good. The eyes are painted on every head sculpt, every face. The eyes are painted beautifully. I absolutely love the eyes on here as well. The mouth looks great. Just a really good chibi. I love the chibi style of these. I don't usually like a chibi type style, but I love the Nenderoid figures, and I think it works really perfectly for a character like Mega Man. So again, you have, a nice clean cut, obviously. His waist removed, so it really is clean cut because it's a separate piece. But all the paint looks really good. On the sides here, you have the yellow ears with the red in there, opposed to, the classic blue. But yeah, everything just looks really nice. I'm not going to jump into detail with anything on this because I pretty much reviewed this figure last year, so I don't really need to cover anything specifically. For his articulation, again, it's the same. His head is on pretty much a universal ball joint, so it goes up and down, left and right. And it also does come with an extra neck peg, should you break it. So his arms, doesn't really matter which one you have in, they will rotate 360 degrees because of course they pop out, and the elbows don't bend, but it doesn't really matter because that's the point of having different arms so you can get different poses, but they will swivel 360 as well as will the fists because of course they all come out. The waist will rotate a full 360 degrees. The hips are on a universal type ball joint, so those can go in and out as well as forward and back, but you kind of have to play with them a little bit to get them to go forward and back, rotate them like that. That's about it. These figures are a little bit more limited in terms of articulation, but they give you a lot of accessories to change up the way you pose him to make up for that lack of articulation. And because I know someone's probably dying to sit, here we have the Metal Blade version of Mega Man, and here we have the original Nenderoid Mega Man. And even though it wouldn't make sense to have two Mega Mans side by side, this looks really awesome. Well, actually, in Mega Man 3, there was the Clone Mega Man. Oh, and there was Clone Mega Man and Mega Man 1. All right, what am I saying? But I think this looks absolutely awesome. These two guys look really, really good next to each other, and because I really want to do it, we're just going to do this now. You can totally just mix and match parts with these guys, so you can give him a Mega Buster, it's not going to look right, and you can give him a brown arm, or you can have him throw a Metal Blade, which, again, there's really no point in doing any of that, but you could swap the heads, you could swap the... Give me a second. Alright, so there was literally absolutely no point in me doing this, but I wanted to have fun. It's a Frankenstein mishmash Mega Man. If you look, their helmets are even switched, and it's kind of hard to tell what figure is which, because this one's got... I don't know, it's really confusing, but there's something always satisfying about taking parts of different figures and mixing and matching their colors, really with anything. But yeah, you can totally do this if you want. If you want, you could have two blue arms there and maybe two brown arms here. I'm not going to really play around with it because that would really be kind of time consuming, but you could totally do that, and I may do that because it may look great, but I also don't want to mess with the flow and synchronization of each figure, themselves. But yeah, so having these two figures, side by side, not just having one of them is, I'm already having a ton of fun with it, so it's really awesome. But this guy was just to show you a little comparison. Here they are side by side, and of course he still has the red dots under his feet, but yeah. So other than that, everything on this figure is really about the same. The way you would do everything, the way you change everything is pretty much the same. So to change the face, you would just kind of slide the helmet off and put the other one in, put the helmet back on. Change the arms, you kind of just pop them off. Same thing with the legs. Everything works exactly the same, and there's really nothing for me to go into in terms of this figure. So I wanted to explain something as I was changing the helmet here. The one problem that I still totally have with this figure is that you can't just slide the helmet on. You have to be very careful. You have to put one ear in and then kind of get the other one in and then slide it down. But it's very tricky because you feel like you're going to pop one of these ears off, which I did on the original figure. So I'm still going to continue to be very careful whenever I'm changing one of these faces. So just by changing a few things out with these figures, you can totally change the pose of it 100% completely. So even though the articulation on these figures might be extremely limited, there's so much you can do with the parts they give you and things with those parts that will change up the poses and give you millions of, well, probably not, but limited possibilities. So for example, I really kind of just learned this by changing the rotation of the forearm on his arm. You can really kind of change it. So you can have it kind of close to his body like that, but if I rotate it like that and then rotate his fist, it's kind of like Mega Man's arm is kind of going out like that, and he's got his fist out, like clenching it. And it just goes to show you can really change it. But by changing it, like putting in a different face, and I love those eyes, and putting in a different arm, now we can kind of have Mega Man like this, looking as if he just threw a blade, and he's looking over at it. If he would stand, not surprised that this won't stand, he's got a huge head. So I'm kind of balancing him there. But then you can kind of just take a stand for one of the metal blades, and you wedge it it in there, and I mean, I could do a better job of it if I took my time, but there you have Mega Man looking like he threw a metal blade, and you could totally have Mega Man up on the stand there. So again, just by doing this, you take one of the arms and you wedge it on in there, up like that, as if he's ready to throw a Mega Blade. And again, I could do better if I, took my time with it, but that still looks really good. So you can do a lot of dynamic poses. You could have him holding the blade, ready for battle. You could have him just throwing it. You could put the regular arms back in and kind of just having him holding it calmly at his side. But alongside that, you can do other classic poses just like the original figures, such as the just got hit damaged knockback pose, which looks really great. And the classic Mega Man jumping one leg up kind of, I guess, pose. I didn't really do a good job at it. So kind of back to getting something that I guess foreshadowed before, and you can see I have a mess of parts behind me, is that one thing that I really do not like, that I had a problem with this on the other figure too, is that they only give you, for example, one metal blade hand. You only have his right hand able to throw the metal blade. Now, I understand the eyes, for example, on this face only look to the right. That's fine. I still don't care if I have to put a metal blade in this hand, because in this kind of a pose where he's just, chilling out holding a metal blade, it's fine if it's in that hand. And the reason I think that's such a problem is because I would love to have him hold his E-Tank in his right hand and a metal blade in the left hand, kind of like chilling out holding his metal blade as he takes a sip from his E-Tank, or vice versa. I wish the E-Tank also came with a hand that could go on his left hand. And even if they're not going to give me one of each for both of them, I wish that for these hands where it's limited to one side of Mega Man, I wish one would be a left and one would be a right, so you could use them in tandem with each other. But you can't, because they limit that because they can both only go on the right hand, and that bothers me. So to me, one of the coolest part about Nenderoid figures is the fact that, yes, the articulation is a bit limited, but because of the few, but really many, parts they give you to interchange in the figure, you can change the way they look and dynamically so much. It's actually kind of crazy. But they totally did just enough to turn this from a repaint into a completely different figure for me. For me, I have a completely new figure here to mess around with and do completely different things with. The only real gripes that I have with this figure are the fact that they didn't repaint the E-Tank, and the fact that I would really love it if we could have a right and a left throwing hand and a right and a left E-Tank hand. With most figure companies, like I want to use Hot Toys or SH Figure Arts, example, every hand they make has a right and a left. I can't really say which one I prefer over the other, because to me, they're two very different figures and you can't compare them, but I think they're both absolutely fantastic, and once again, Good Smile has pleased me with the product. If you want to see me go into much more detail about this figure, technically, I'll put the link down in the video description for last year's video review of the original Nenderoid Mega Man. But alright guys, that's about going to wrap it up for the video review of the Metal Blade version of the Nenderoid Mega Man figure. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode.